The Boeing 787 is a twin-engine, long-range, wide-body aircraft developed in the early 2000s. Packed with new innovations and technology, the aircraft started commercial operations with ANA on October 26, 2011. Both A350 and B787 Dreamliner are swiftly becoming the world's most technologically advanced airplanes, produced respectively by Airbus Europe and Boeing USA. Both new aircraft can fly long distances. The A350-9 can fly 7,600 miles, while the 787-900 can fly 8,500 miles. The aerospace company decided an all-new airplane needs an all-new interior and went all out to make the 787's interior as innovative as its airframe, aerodynamics, and engines. Boeing chose the name Dreamliner in 2003, which would eventually be a game-changer for many airlines. Enabling routes that weren't possible for aircraft of the same type, the Boeing 787 was a dream come true for many airlines. From the air you breathe to the turbulence you won't feel to the windows you look through, the passenger experience promises to provide something new at every stage of your flight. On the day of delivery, Scott Fancher, the then vice president and general manager of the 787 program, while holding his ticket said, "I've been waiting years for this slip of paper. Breathe. Take it all in as you are the first to experience this new standard in aviation." The aircraft typically accommodates 220 passengers in a three-class cabin configuration. The length is 57 meters and the wingspan is 60 meters, while the height is 17 meters. The range is between 14,200 and 15,200 kilometers, and the cruise speed is Mach 0.85. The total cargo volume of the 787-8 is 4,400 cubic feet. Through its widespread use of composite materials in primary structure, more electric systems architecture, and engine technology, the 787 achieved a 20% reduction in fuel burn compared to previous airplanes in its class. The 787 is roughly the size of the 767, but with a longer range than the 777. If efficiency is the point of concern, the 787 comes on top. The A350 definitely has a longer range, but the 787 simply utilizes the fuel better. The 787-10 costs $325 million, while the A350 costs $367 million. The Boeing 787 has close to 1,500 aircraft on order, while the A350 has around 1,000. As both aircraft were launched at nearly the same time, it can be seen that the industry prefers the 787. The B787 has windows that are both taller and wider than on the A350 and other jets. The giveaway is on the aircraft doors. The A350 has small, round porthole-style windows on the aircraft doors. Dreamliner doors have tall, narrow windows with rounded top-bottom edges. You should also look to the wings to help distinguish between the two planes. The wings of the B787 slant upward, and when you look at the plane with a head-on view, it's easy to notice. It's all very clear that the wings bow up when looking out at them during flight. The tips of the wings on the A350 are uniquely curly, while the B787 has raked wingtips that angle up slightly and point away from the plane. Boeing breaks new ground with its use of electrical systems to control flaps, rudder, elevators, etc., instead of the hydraulic systems found on the traditional commercial aircraft, including the Airbus A350 XWB. The Dreamliner met all expectations at the time of its launch. When you go inside a 787 mock-up, you get this wow, said airline analyst Scott Hamilton, who got to see a demo interior at Boeing's facility near Seattle. Boeing wastes no time giving passengers a new experience. The ceiling resembles a skylight, complete with blue LED lighting that mimics the sky. They've designed this kind of lounge area instead of coming in next to a galley, Hamilton says. It really gives you a welcoming area instead of entering into somebody's kitchen. Of course, it's up to the airlines buying the planes to decide what you see, and some of them way well modify the boarding area and other features of the plane. But even if they muck it up completely, there's still a lot of wow in the 787 cabins. The onboard lighting is one of the coolest features. Anyone who has flown across more than a couple of time zones knows how difficult it is to sleep and to be awakened with the flick of a switch that floods the cabin in fluorescent white light. Boeing's LEDs allow the crew to adjust the lighting to match different phases of the flight. The light is fairly standard during boarding and while cruising. The 787 test program consisted of 6 aircraft titled ZA001 to ZA006. ZA001 was Boeing's first test Dreamliner aircraft and was used for the maiden flight. It was decommissioned as a test aircraft in December 2011. ZA002 joined the Dreamliner test program in December 2009. ZA004 beat ZA003 to action by a month. They joined the test program in February and March 2010 respectively. ZA005, the first Dreamliner to have General Electric GE and X engines rather than the Rolls-Royce Trent 1000 engines, made its first flight and entered the test program in June 2010. The museum's 7878, known as ZA003, was the third Dreamliner built. In addition to its role in the flight test and certification program, Boeing flew ZA003 to 23 countries during a global marketing showcase of the 787 called the Dream Tour. At the museum, the airplane's interior is partially configured as an airliner and flight test aircraft, with the remaining space now devoted to displays and artifacts covering the development of the 787. The 787 did a remarkable job getting people where they really wanted to go, said Richard Abulafia, Vice President of Analysis at Teal Group. This jet took them directly to where they wanted to go, which definitely helped stimulate international traffic, Abulafia said. In 2004, orders for 50 aircraft were placed by ANA. This new wide-body was expected to be 20% more efficient than the Boeing 767, since components for the Dreamliner were coming from all over the world. Boeing had to modify 4 747s into Dreamlifters. The final assembly of the first prototype was started in 2007 and was soon rolled out. At this point, the aircraft already had 600-plus orders. In December 2009, the aircraft made its median flight. The fuselage cross-section of 5.74 meters is compatible with standard LD3 containers. The cargo revenue capacity will increase by 40 to 60% compared with current airliners. Kaiser Electro Precision provides the pilot controls, which are similar in function to those of the Boeing 777. Rockwell Collins was selected to supply display communication and situational awareness systems. There are 5 12 inches into 9.1 inches displays and dual flight dynamics head-up displays. Thales supplies the integrated standby flight display. Communication systems included advanced VHF and satellite communication radios. Even the overhead bins have been redesigned. To accommodate the trend of more carry-on bags due to baggage fees and the unwillingness of some passengers to part with their luggage, Boeing made the bins about 30% larger. They're easier to load because they lower when open and tuck away when raised. That should be a big help for people who don't understand what a carry-on should be and make it easier for the rest of us to stash our stuff and get out of the aisle. Situational awareness systems include terrain awareness warning systems, weather radar, traffic alert and collision avoidance systems (TCAS), and an airport moving map for safer ground taxi operations. One of the more innovative passenger comfort systems on the 787 is the computer-controlled turbulence reduction system. Boeing claims the smoother ride technology will provide an 8-fold reduction in the number of people experiencing motion sickness. Sensors throughout the airplane detect subtle changes in air pressure indicative of turbulence and direct the fly-by-wire flight controls to move flaprons on the wings to counter the vertical motion. It won't eliminate all the bumps, but Boeing says it'll work especially well on the moderate turbulence that causes most air sickness. All of this technology puts the 787 well ahead of the competition, Hamilton says. He points out that if you only know the standard airline interior, you won't feel like you're missing anything. But even the most modern of interiors in other airplanes doesn't compare. Airbus had done a complete makeover of the A320 interior in 2007, Hamilton says. But it's a conventional-looking interior. It's very good, but having been inside the 787, you just get that wow factor. If you think something about Boeing should be in the video, let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out the following videos here. Honeywell of Phoenix, Arizona was selected to provide the flight control electronics, autopilot, and the navigation package, which include the flight management function, inertial reference system, air data system, and a multi-mode receiver global positioning system.